Hi guys, welcome back to Simply Created. I am going to head and start off this recipe by cleaning all of my veggies. After I do that, I'm going to slice up my celery. Now you just want to slice those into 3 pieces longwise and then dice them. I also do have green onions here. I have purple onion. You can use white if you'd like. And I also am cutting off some fresh broccoli and putting them in a saute pan. We are going to be sauteing that later with some bacon. It's going to be so nice and greasy and juicy with the rendering of that bacon. Now you just want to go ahead and set that aside for now. I also have a red pepper here. Traditionally, New Orleans, they use green pepper, onions, and celery. So there is no garlic in their food, and if there is, it's not one of their main traditions, but you know me, I can't do anything without my garlic. Oh, and by the way, easiest way when you're cooking is to always keep your station clean. So you'll notice that every time I cut something, I'm cleaning my cutting board, I'm cleaning the counter. So here I have some green onions. Now those, we're not cooking them, those are just to be a garnish to put over our food once we're done. Now you can use a white onion, that's traditional. I'm using the purple, I like how much sweeter they are. Now a trick with onions so that they don't make you water is to keep the base of the onion, there you go, because that prevents you from crying, which is a good tip to know. Thank you, Rachel Ray. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut up this jalapeno. So you want to make sure that if you're going to cut it without protecting your hands, that you don't touch your face or your eyes in particular until you wash them very, very well. So you can leave some of the seeds inside. It's very, very hot. I decided just to keep a few of the jalapeno peppers that I sprinkled into the bowl there, and I'm dicing up my jalapeno. Now the jalapeno is going to go in with the sauteed shrimp. So here we go, see? My garlic. So if you want to add garlic, great. If you're not a garlic lover like I am, I would suggest using 1 or 2 cloves. I'm using 4 today. This is going to go inside of our rice along with our peppers and our celery. Now once I get that all minced up and put into a bowl, I'm going to go ahead and get started with cutting my bacon. So you can use 4 strips. We love bacon, so I'm using 6 today. You just want to slice those twice. So you're slicing them long ways, and then you're taking those long slices, twisting them or flipping them off to the side, there you go, and then going ahead and dicing them again. Again, this is going to go in with the broccoli to saute. Once you have everything cut up and you've cleaned your station, now it's time to grab your shrimp. So I have 1 bag here of pre-cooked, deveined shrimp. Now the trick about these, it's easy to take the tail off without removing any of the shrimp if you clean them while they're still slightly frozen. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just taking the tails off, making sure I keep my station clean, and then I'm putting them off to the side to drain out some of that excess water. And then we're going to go ahead and start cooking the rice. So here I have, I'm multitasking guys, so here I have 2 pots, my skillet and then my nonstick pot that I'm going to cook the rice in. For the skillet, I have sprinkled a little bit of olive oil. Don't use too much because you're going to get grease from the bacon. I have that rendering off. I have it on high, about a 7. And now I'm adding half of the purple onions that we cut, half into one pot and half into the other. Now the pot that I have here is for the rice. So I'm going to sprinkle some salt into that and sprinkle some salt into the other pot as well. We don't want to add too much because we're going to get seasoning anyways from our stock. And we're also going to get salt from our bacon. So the salt really is just to draw out the moisture from your onions. So now you can go ahead and throw your garlic into your rice. Stir that up very nicely. Again, I have this rice pot on high, so it's about an 8 or 9. This goes fairly quickly, so you can go ahead and just throw in your celery and your peppers. Again, don't forget traditional is green. I'm using red because that's what I have on hand, and trust me, it came out just as great. So keep an eye on your bacon. You don't want that to burn either since it is on high. This entire dish should not take more than 45 minutes to an hour. So I have my Creole seasoning that I got at the dollar store. I am putting only a half a tablespoon into the rice for a little bit more kick, a little bit more spice, because again, we don't want to add too much salt. So once I stir my pots, what I'm going to do is grab my rice and go ahead and throw that into our pot. I have 2.5 cups of medium grained rice here, and what I do is I constantly stir the rice until I see that those grains have become slightly white, like a chalky white, and then I will go ahead and add my stock. And once that comes to a boil after a good stir, I'll let it sit there until most of that water has evaporated. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and put it on low between 2 and 3, cover that, cook it for 45 minutes without removing the lid so that your rice is nice and fluffy. So now I'm going to go ahead and throw my broccoli in since my bacon is nice and crispy. I'm going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil because there actually wasn't a lot of oil, bacon grease with the bacon, even though I used 6 slices. And I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of salt. Now what I did was, and I don't think I recorded it, but I put a lid that you'll see later on top of this to keep the moisture inside because I still want this broccoli to be crunchy. I don't want it to be, all flimsy. So jumping ahead, our broccoli and our bacon is done. So what I have done is taken the lid off that I had on top to keep the moisture inside to steam them. I'm giving that a good stir. Oh yeah, I tasted the bacon. It was really, really good. So I went ahead and I'm showing you here what you're looking for. So you're looking for a slight char on your broccoli, but you still want it to be firm because you want that crunch. So I put that aside in a bowl, and I'm telling you guys, my kitchen smelled absolutely amazing. Now onto the shrimp. This is the best part ever, and I'm telling you, it was so thick, the sauce, and juicy and flavorful. So I just sprinkled a little bit of olive oil on a skillet, same skillet I used for the broccoli and for the bacon. I'm sprinkling in some seafood seasoning onto the shrimp, and that bag probably brings about 25 to 30 shrimp. I'm throwing in my diced jalapeno in there. This goes really fast, guys. It's shrimp. Just to kick a little bit more spice, I am putting a few crackles of ground pepper. And then the best part is putting in the remaining of the ingredients. Now this is where most of your flavor is going to come from. So we're going to add a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to go ahead and give that a good stir. Now we have the stove on high, so this is going to melt fairly quickly. And then after we give it a quick stir there and a little zhuzh, we're going to go ahead and sprinkle in a half of a beer. You can use any type of beer that you want. You don't want to be molten beer because you don't want this sauce to be super, super thick. And we're just going to let this render down for about 5 minutes, and that's it, guys. The shrimp is done. I zested in one of the limes and then the juice of one of the limes. I wanted to give it some acidity so it wasn't so strong with the beer, even though that's reducing. And what's nice is after the sauce was done, the beer actually did create a nice slurry for the sauce on the shrimp. So go ahead and give that a good stir. So now you can go ahead and juice in one of the limes. You can definitely 2 if you like it a little zestier. I decided to do 1. And then that's it, guys. Dinner is done and ready to serve up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you are notified whenever I upload a video. Have a good night, lovelies.